Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're very welcome to our Friday webinar with the team from PayPal that you can see there on screen. Dorothy here from the CCMA. As always, I'm just going to give a couple of minutes for everybody to join. Hi, Linda. Hi, Mary. Good to see you. Hi, Sharon. Great to see everybody on board this morning. For what's going to be a really interesting chat, and Niall Kenna, who you see on the right of my screen, so you probably see him the same, is a director with PayPal and a CCMA board member. So we're really grateful to Niall for pulling together the team this morning with Michael and Orla, and Niall will do the official introductions in a moment, to share, I think, some really valuable insights on a program that PayPal have developed over the last couple of years that has had a significant impact in a positive way, clearly, on the business. And a lot of it is built around coaching. And we were just talking before we came on live, as they say, about the challenges of coaching and hybrid, and we'll talk about that and address that in this morning's webinar. But as always, we want to make this as interactive as possible, and this really is an opportunity to speak to the experts. So really, if you have any questions, comments, observations, please put them in our questions box to the right or in the chat field to the right hand side. You'll see it in the little box there. But I do know we're in the middle of a group of quality professionals currently. We're meeting, and we've had our second meeting yesterday, and definitely one of the challenges currently with the great resignation, with attrition, with employee engagement, is how you get the support your teams, but also how you continuously improve your customer experience delivery. And I think we're going to get some really good nuggets this morning from the guys on PayPal. So I'm going to hand over to Niall. Niall, as I say, thank you so much. I'll let you do the formal introductions, and just a reminder to pop any questions, comments into the chat box. So thanks a lot.
And thanks, Dorothy. Good morning, everybody. Delighted to be here. Again, as Dorothy said, I look after a number of our global markets in terms of our global customer services strategy and operations. Myself and Michael and Orla sit within the global customer services team. So if you want to introduce yourself, Orla, Michael, to get started.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Orla Doyle, and I'm one of the senior site coaches here for PayPal. I support leaders in both EMEA and in the APAC region.
And I'm Michael Muckian. Like Orla, I'm one of the site coaches supporting in EMEA and also across some of the other regions that we support into North America and APAC also.
Thanks, Michael, Orla. So let's just give us, I suppose, some context. Obviously, PayPal is a big global company. We have over 400 million customers worldwide, and over 10,000 staff within our global customer services organization. So obviously a large organization, and obviously we've had exponential growth over the last few years, due to the pandemic and obviously transition to e-commerce. And part of where we're coming from is that to scale up, because our goal is to get to 1 billion customers worldwide, that's the company ambition, is that we can't have customers contact us, and if they do, it has to be very easy. So as a company at a senior leadership level within customer services, the leadership team decided to actually take on an effortless strategy. And the effortless was, how do we drive every single pain point out of the system, and how do we make it really effortless for our customers to contact us whichever way they want to, whenever they want to, if they have to. Preferably we want them to self-service. And second thing is, our frontline staff particularly, how do we make their life easy? Like they're the ones on the phones, on the messaging, who are getting all the contacts. We do about 60 million contacts a year in PayPal globally in customer services. And the question is, how do we drive all that out of the system and have a real effortless mindset? So about 3 years ago, the company decided to do an effortless transformation program, which we're going to run through today, which is really paying dividends. It was really 1 year of planning, and then really we're kind of into year 2 of execution, and we've got another year next year. And our goal is to get the whole company up to an NPS of over 60 across every single market globally. Some markets are already there, but certainly some markets aren't. So what we're going to see today, and again, as Dorothy said, please ask questions, is how did we approach it? And coaching was really at the heart of what we're doing with our frontline staff to get an effortless mindset. So I'm going to hand over to Orla now to kick us off.
Thanks a million. So as Niall introduced there, we had our quest, we launched our quest to Effortless just over 2 years ago. And when we started this and when we were in our year of planning, we looked as a company, we looked out into the market and we looked at a lot of the competitors and the organizations that are out there that we would hold as kind of gold standard. And you can see some of the names there on the slide. And what we saw that when we looked at their approach to service and approach to customer engagement and customer service, that there was certain things came through, that they had consistency in their approach. They differentiated their different types of customers and how they manage those customers. There was a commitment to a high level of service, and they had a presence in the market, very responsive. There was, you know, and their customers were really engaged with them. And there was clarity on their service, clarity on what they did, clarity on the message and the solution that they were giving to their customers, and also that they were authentic. And these were some of the qualities that we already had in PayPal and that we were building upon. But when we looked at it, we did find opportunities, and we find, as Niall kind of said, that we, you know, some of the stuff that we were doing, there was effort for our customers, and that they had to, it was a barrier to get over to kind of get the service that they wanted and the solution that they wanted. So as a company and as an organization, we looked to what was our effortless strategy going to be, and that then defined into us looking at our 3-year effortless transformation strategy. And this is where we wanted to be a champion of customer success by transforming our customer and teammate engagement through automated and effortless experiences, propelling the PayPal brand and business growth. So when you break that down, I suppose it's really important that we had our customer and our teammate at the heart of this strategy. It wasn't just about providing the best service for our customers and the teammates will come along with it. We had to ensure that everything that we were doing on this effortless journey was delivering for our customers and ultimately delivering for our teammates. And when we looked at that and how we were going to bring that strategy to life, it fell within 4 main pillars of the effortless transformation. And here we looked at our servicing channels. So we looked at, you know, a lot of, we were predominantly phone. So we brought in other different channels and making sure that we were balanced across, and we were giving customers the choice of the channel that they wanted to use. We invested in artificial intelligence and bots, and as Niall was saying, to improve the self-service management, our knowledge management portal and our knowledge management articles, making sure that customers and teammates were able to get the right information at the right time. We looked at our service strategy, and then we also looked at our teammate tools, investing in those to ensure that they were effortless and were able to deliver that. But underpinning all of this was ensuring that we were developing and engaging teammates in a coaching environment. We needed to bring teammates along with us on this journey. It wasn't that we were pulling them with us or we were saying this is what they were going to go. We wanted it to be a collaborative approach and to ensure that they were coming with us as a company along this effortless transformation. So it really has been, I suppose, a whole mindset shift, and we have a team and everything from our leadership, our senior leadership, right down to our newest teammates are bought in and engaged in this effortless transformation. And Michael's now going to take you through what effortless transformation looks like from a coaching perspective and how coaching has underpinned an awful lot of this and help us deliver on a lot of these strategies to ensure that they all fit in with each other and are delivering for both our customers and our teammates. So Michael, over to yourself.
Lovely, thanks Orla. So hopefully by now you're asking yourself, how have they done this? What have they done? And really the best way to explain is to talk you through our journey about how we've made that coaching approach and really changed mindsets. So back when we started this over 3 years ago, we had a model team structure where we had 4 one-on-ones a month, basically 1 a week. And we flexed this into getting towards coaching support. That is where we adapted to looking at having 1 scheduled session, but the rest of your meetings with your leader being integrated. This is because now our leaders are coached and empowered to use the time as they feel is necessary in order to support their teammates. There's no one-size-fits-all approach anymore. If someone needs more support, you have the power as a leader to give them that additional support and take it from someone who maybe doesn't need as much coaching and support. We are much more focused on live call or in message and on the spot coaching. And actually, we were able to, the virus actually probably helped us moving in a work from home environment because everything is done virtually now. So it's very simple and quick to connect to somebody and have integrated support for them. To change this mindset, one of the first things we had to do was start by looking at a root cause analysis. By doing regular qualities, we really were able to gain a deep insight into trends and patterns. Our leaders look not at numbers anymore, but track the behavioral changes and the trends. Numbers is not the big thing anymore. If we can get the behaviors and the skills right, the numbers look after themselves. We really moved away from having a metric focus. Skills and behaviors became part of our language, part of the change of PayPal to make things effortless for our customers. Our leaders work with the teammates to connect the behaviors actually back to metrics. What difference does it make if I show these key skills to that caller or to that person that's on message to me? And that's when our team came in with our global coach support. So we have 15 coaches supporting in 19 different languages globally, supporting our entire team leader population in the GCS or customer service space. How we do that is ongoing observation and feedback on the effectiveness of that coaching. Bad coaching is worse than no coaching. We have looked and built over the years specific tools to record coaching conversations and hold regular quality calibrations with leaders to make sure that this coaching is of the highest possible standard. We've built governance rules that actually show what we expect and how to coach to a high standard so we really move the needle. All of our quarterly and monthly meetings all actually report out firstly on behaviors before we look at any metrics, because again, this effortless journey is all about getting the behaviors right. Now, importantly, the outcomes. What we've seen is massive improvements in empathy and how we connect with our customers. PayPal and all of its employees have moved from being transactional to having relational support. Now you're thinking, what happened to the numbers? We've had a reduction in our repeat contact rate and a reduction in our handling time. A very short-term pain at the start, but within a couple of months, we actually seen all of these metrics improving as we were flexing and building the skills we needed to make things effortless for our customers. Our NPS back in 2018 was 32. We finished last year on 53, and we have no doubt that this year we will get 60, which is best in class, I'm sure you all agree, in financial services. A key element is our approach is applied consistently across all markets, regions, and channels that you contact PayPal through. All of our customers experience the effortless journey, regardless of where they are in the world or the language or the method that they're contacting us in. The language of effortless is now part of PayPal's DNA, and that has seen us actually expanding this from outside of our basic CS environment to other areas of the business. Before we launch any new products, before we complete any training, we all ask ourselves, is this effortless? Will this make our customers' journey and relationship with PayPal a better experience for them? That is our goal, that is our focus, and that's why our NPS is 53, and quite soon we will get to 60. So that's from us, folks, and we'd like to thank you for your time and open it up for any questions.
Great, thanks, Michael. I'm going to kick off with the first question. Can you give us a sort of a practical example of the behavior? So you basically turned everything on its head in terms of how you monitor, coach, etc. So can you give us a couple of examples, Michael and Orla, of the behaviors that you're looking for and how you identify them and how you then coach if they're not there?
So yes, Dorothy, so as Michael says, a leader will start off with kind of doing the root cause analysis. So we had 6 and we've now kind of moved to 4 key behaviors, and they're kind of areas that you would expect from a customer would expect. So you're looking at how did the teammate listen to my issue? So did they really hear what I was saying? So we're looking to see, did the teammate pick up on the tone of the customer or restart previous messages if it's a messaging channel? Then we're looking to see, did they resolve the issue, or sorry, did they do their research properly? So did they Do they research into the issue using the tools that are available and then present that solution to the customer? And then how did they end the conversation? Did they end it in a way that they're providing additional information if it's correct for the customer, or transitioning into additional service? So those would kind of be the 4 key skills that the leader's looking for. So our leaders will observe, and we do it on a trend basis. So we're asking leaders that they, on a quarterly basis, they observe 10 customer interactions. So that could be 10 phone calls or 10 messages, depending upon where what channel the teammate supports. And those 10, and we do them in batches of 5, will give the leader an insight into how that teammate's listening skills appear across 5 different calls. So we don't just take it in isolation, we look for the trend. The leader will also take into consideration, when doing that root cause analysis, the customer feedback, so looking at the medallia survey results and then the customer satisfaction. So that gives them a real sense of how this teammate performs on a monthly or a quarterly basis on their contacts. And also, like, see, is there particular intents or particular customer types that they struggle. They then, as Michael said, have a scheduled session with that teammate. We do that on a monthly basis, where the leader will sit down and have a coaching conversation with the teammate and go through the various coaching competencies and get the teammate to reflect on their performance the previous month. How did they do? What behaviours did they display really well? What was their strengths? And what opportunities did they see? The leader will then use the information that they have to kind of question the teammate and probe them. So if the teammate thinks that they're fantastic, that they're absolutely brilliant, but the data and the root cause analysis tells them a different story, the leader can then test that reality and say, well, do you think that your active listening is really 100%, or is there maybe a couple of opportunities? And sure, we'll listen to a call here and then you tell me what you think. So it's very much a collaborative approach. And then by the end of that scheduled session, the leader and the teammate will have come to an agreement as to what skill they're focusing on, what the action plan looks like to improve that, and what the outcome's going to be, so what the goal is. And that goal will be to improve their performance, so to go from a certain rating up to a higher rating. It could be that by active listening I will improve my recontact rate will go down. So as Michael says, it isn't metric based, but it influences the metrics. That's then recorded on our tools and on our coaching forms. The teammate and the leader agree on it, and then throughout the month at the integrated session, as Michael said, the leader will do live on call or in contact coaching based around that specific skill to help the teammate move and get closer to their goal. So that kind of gives you a sense of how the MET or the behaviours are the core element of what the teammate and the leader will focus on to improve overall performance and overall service for the customer.
Brilliant, thanks Orla. Question from Una, she says, really interesting, thank you. How do you manage calibration of the quality team stroke coaches as apart from calibration of the coaching delivered to the agents?
So I can take that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I understand the question myself.
Yeah. So we have our own calibration of ourselves. So we will record sessions where we've completed coaching, and we'll all independently mark those and then discuss and review. The same as we would calibration with team leaders, we'll actually have calibrations on ourselves as coaches to make sure we align and that we see the same opportunities to be coached on with the leaders. We see the same strengths. And actually, we have coaching forms that we complete each and every time we do all sessions that maintain the confidentiality of coaching, but at the same time give us the feedback as to what we are seeing and does it align with the group leaders who also coach as part of this program with the leaders. But as site coaches, we have regular calibrations bi-weekly in which we review coaching sessions that we've done and score them and see that we all align and that we're all seeing the same thing, and that, like any coach, you always review every session that you've done and ask yourself the questions: what coaching pitfalls did you fall into and how do you reduce that for the next time?
Great, thanks Michael. Question from Mary. Fabulous presentation and absolutely agree with the behavioural approach. My question is, how much of a challenge was it to get everyone to focus on the inputs or behaviours and not on the numbers? I'd be interested to know if there was initially a natural resistance to this approach. So I don't know who wants to take that first.
I think it's like any new program, there's a big change curve that needs to go through. I think initially, and even as new leaders come in, and I would say, you know, especially as leaders are coming in from maybe in different regions, and that coaching necessarily wouldn't be a natural skill or management competency that would be utilized. There is an adjustment period, but a lot of it comes from the support that the directors are given, and the language around it supports it. So I suppose the big thing was that from our senior leadership, so from Annette and Niall's team right down to the newest team leader, this is the language we talk about coaching, we talk about collaboration, and it's about the behaviors. So I think the commitment, there was definitely a change that we had to go through and a normalization process, and the metrics will always be there, and they're always going to be there in the background, and that's what we're measured against. But it's been a lot of commitment to get that as part, as Michael says, part of our DNA and part of our language, and to get people on board. And that's again where we come in as site coaches, that we're there to be like independent observers, I suppose, of leaders, to help them if they do default into that metrics and set goals and metrics. Then we would kind of check in with them and say, okay, well, could that not have been a behavior tied to a metric rather than metric first? So it's an ongoing program and an ongoing awareness that we need. But yeah, I think we're slowly but surely changing the language and the focus to where we want it to be.
I'd add in as well, thanks Orla, is that when we initially did the pilot with some teams in based in Ireland for the UK market and in North America, there was a bit of AHT went up and the metrics weren't improving for the first kind of couple of months, and it was like a bit of panic of like, this was the strategy, you know, really, is it working? A lot of people going like, do we cut it? But actually we stuck at it, and like any of these things, it takes a few months, and you know we're all obsessed by AHT and efficiencies, but actually, as Michael has said, actually the AHT actually has gone down, and the rest of the KPIs have gone up, and where we probably saw. So it does take a few months. And when we rolled out in other languages, we started obviously in English, then we moved to the language. It does take probably about 3 to 6 months to really master, in terms of just the level of getting used to it, the integrated coaching, the level of kind of, as Michael said, of observations and feedback and the coaching style and mindset change. So it does take, so we know it works. And then the last people we rolled it out actually were our external outsourcing partners, where they really, you know, I wouldn't even say coach, they manage the metrics absolutely 100%. And it's hard for them, and we're doing it now. We need to bring in our site coaches to help us with our partners to change that mindset around stop training and coaching to metrics. And it's taken a while from the get, but we're starting to see real benefits now from even our outsourcers. So you got to commit to it. Like anything, it takes time, but the results have been really strong in the last couple of years.
And actually, there was a question asking, and I see Mary said you just answered there about partners now. So then how does that relate to contract terms? Because normally a BPO contract would be on things like AHT. So, you know, has it changed how you negotiate the pricing on an outsourced contract?
No. What we've kind of done is trying to change some of the metrics. So, you know, we've a bill with our partners. It's a billable hour model, and of the metrics traditionally would have been AHT, repeat contract rate, transfer rate, and what we call KDI, which is I suppose feedback on the team. What we've done actually is we've changed it. We put in NPS, and also we looked at completed contacts as opposed to just your individual metrics. Because at the end of the day, is what we want to do is be one and done with customers, and the effortless thing is about really driving that, you know, not just resolve of what they're calling about, but actually future resolve as well, where possible, and what to expect. And that's really reduced our RCR, which has a really positive impact. So, you know, a little bit of extra AHT in the short term has a positive impact over time on all our metrics.
Brilliant. And can I just ask, the technology that you guys are using for this, Michael, what is it? Is there a particular application or platform?
So at the moment, we're doing most things through the Teams platform, but we've built our own internal tools within PayPal. And we have a nice performance management tool in which we document coaching. So it's a form that we've had a performance team build for us to capture the quality of that coaching, and allows us to report out daily, weekly, monthly, that from our vice president down, that all leaders have had the right amount of coaching done, that we can see those scheduled and coaching sessions, we can complete spot checks of those forms. So we've built a technology to support Effortless, even down to our teammates who now can go in and check, you know, where am I trending against these skills? Where have I had opportunities? So every time we do an integrated coaching, which is building upon the goal that they're working on, at the end of that session, they're marked against the skills that they need to show for Effortless, and they have live visibility of that in this nice tool in order to allow them to track it. And it keeps it front of mind for them and helps them build that new habit. And it's all about habit building, that I need to focus on forward resolving, not just the issue that's on the phone right now, but let's take another 30 seconds and tell the customer something that will really help them in the long run and help this person become an advocate and a one-stop shop, like Niall mentioned.
And another question, is the NPS score a CS NPS or an overall company NPS? Meaning, is it measured in other customer interactions outside of customer service? Can everyone take that now?
Yes, it's an NPS. We also actually added in a net effort score as well, which is much broader, which is actually how easy to do business with us, which actually is a slightly lower score than the NPS, because that could be any interaction, any to do with our platform, how you use it. So we look at both. So NPS, is much more around that interaction, and obviously, are you an advocate, or are you going to be a promoter or detractor? And that's obviously the standard NPS we use. But we added in another metric called net effort score, which we're tracking, which is again as broad as you want in terms of how is PayPal in general, not just to do with your interaction with a teammate.
And then can I ask, because this is something that's come up in our quality group in the last few sessions, do you go back and go into the detractors and go back then to the teammate in terms of, well, this was what the negative was, or this is not in that way, obviously, but this is where the area for improvement is?
We would, and again, this kind of comes back down to the root cause analysis. So if you have a teammate that's maybe very strong and getting good results and kind of good, strong customer feedback on certain intents, but are falling down on maybe one or two, the leader then can, and I suppose it is about agreement and that collaboration with the teammate, that they would sort of pick that intent that is really having an impact and sort of delve into that and look at that from a behaviours perspective, and then even sort of say, okay, let's see what best practice you could bring in, and is it a knowledge issue or is it a behaviour issue that's having that impact? So we would, and this is, I suppose, where the root cause analysis can be tailored depending upon where the teammate is at.
Okay, perfect. And the last question from Mary. She asked, would love to know their response rate. Now, is this to NPS, Mary, to the NPS survey, or to the Effortless? You might just let me know. Yeah, to NPS. So your customer response rate to your NPS survey. That's something you can share.
It varies by channel. About 70% of our contacts globally are by phone, about 30 is messaging. Our messaging response rate is much lower because you'd be logged in. And when in the chat still to complete the survey, where obviously we have a phone, you have a couple of days to complete it. So it's around, where are we at? 1.5%, 2%, depending on the market. Max at 3%. It varies market to market.
Yeah.
Also, some markets are much heavier messaging.
Yeah.
It's like North America, UK have way more messaging versus say other markets like Germany, where there's way more phone. So big variances around the world. But yeah, I think we would be standard. Like we got a whole DOC team, which is quite large, and if you look at all our root analysis, intent analysis, and then benchmarking with Bain. We do a lot of work at Bain, benchmarking us versus fintech financial companies as well. In terms of NPS and our performance.
Brilliant, perfect. And now, I'm conscious of time, and we've only really got a couple of minutes left. A huge investment, obviously, by PayPal to put this program in place. I mean, I know you said you experienced the dip, and I suppose you had to hold your nerve until you saw the things turning around. Can you make any comment on that? I mean, presumably you're beginning to see the returns now.
Well, the investment, I think, is in the coaching side, and with the change to coaching and making it a core part of success. The other piece we haven't even touched on is the investment we put in self-service, AI and bots. We're putting in Salesforce across customer services. We're upgrading all our systems, because one of our big pain points for our teammate Effortless was actually our systems, our legacy systems. And, our platforms were not sustainable to manage, between 400 and 1 billion customers, that are 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. So I think the drive for Effortless is going to every part of our business, from the content to the customer journey, to our systems, to our stakeholders, our back office. Everything's about Effortless now. But it's a massive investment program. But it's not like, we do a big budget. We have over 400 million customers. We do 60 million contacts. And the thought process was, with 1 billion customers, we can't be doing 200 million contacts. We have to find ways through technology. And what's happened is all the simple contacts are very much now self-service. And what we're left with is the much more complex stuff with our teammates, so that's kind of the shift we're doing. It's probably just an evolution of, of being able to use technology.
Brilliant. Thanks a million, Niall. Conscious of time, so I know we'll have the recording of the webinar. I know Michael, Orla, Niall, you're all on LinkedIn. You're happy for anybody who has more questions to come back. I might come back to you to ask you to maybe meet with our quality assurance special steering group or special interest group, because I think they'll have lots of questions, and I know a couple of them are on this call today, which is great as well. So thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you sharing those insights, and I know we'll have a copy of the presentation that I can put up on the members area as well. So I know Michael's off to do his beach cleaning, so thanks for coming in off your day off to help us. We really, and to present it to the members, really appreciate it. And thanks of course Niall and Orla as well, and hope everybody has a lovely weekend.
You too. Thanks a million.
Thanks,
Thanks everybody. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.